I do it with a lot of the kids I do private lessons with or little classes I do. And it just, I'm a lefty, so my lead leg's left, and I'll get them to line up around a little circle in most wrestling rooms. And you just circle towards your back leg in your stance. I'm just moving. And I'll tell the kids, on my go clap or down block, you down block, and keep circling. Down, I'm moving up, say hit it or down block, boom, keep circling. Down block, down block, down block. And the same, I preach the same thing, like hands go down, top of the head, legs go back, and I'm moving right in my stance again. Boom. Stay in that circle. Shake it out, give them a little breath. I mix in just do a little stretching in between, just keeping them moving, warming them up. And then even if they're not a righty, you're not comfortable with their right leg, if they're left, your left leg, if they're righty, I tell them to do the other leg as well. So we'll start the other leg, moving, down block, down block, down block, down block. Couple times, couple circles, you just kind of feel it out. Time, shake it out, roll your ankles out, whatever you want them doing. Then I start putting it together, going both ways. Starting with my lead leg, I'm moving towards my back leg, and every shuffle I take, I'm kind of turning my hips into the circle, because I want to mimic closing the gap on my opponent. I don't want to just circle away from them and have all this distance. I want to circle into them. So I'm mimicking that. Now in the next part of the drill stance motion, I'm going down block, and then I keep that leg back, and I'm moving the other way. Down block, down block, down block. Good, shake it out. Then the next one, down block, high level attack. So now I start getting them without even a partner, start getting their motion down. Go down block, high level attack. Back to circle. Down block, high level attack. Down block, high level attack. Time. Shake it out, other leg, same thing. Last one I do, down block, 2 knees, pop up double. So we're moving, down block, shot. Down block, shot. Any questions with that drill? Great warm-up drill, any level kind of athlete. Pretty simple to get down. It also just gets their motion going. Sometimes when you start drilling with kids, they just kind of grab, go real slow. This kind of gets their feet moving in an easier way. Now some shots off this motion. Once I get them all warmed up, I use this motion to continue to warm them up. So I'll circle towards my back leg, and I use it to get to my inside thigh. So I'm circling, and I'm going to close the gap, switching my hips as I'm moving. Boom, jamming my inside thigh here, aiming right to back, thumb tucked, curling it back down tight, jamming my head through thighs here. And I'm trying to really extend this part of his back and his head and pulling his arm in the opposite direction. So as I'm moving, maybe use your backhand. I don't like front hand either. Always backhand to close the gap, move it out of the way, jump in there. And I keep this motion going. My best shot's a sweep single, so we always just warm up. Boom. Get to my sweep single off that circle motion. Really simple. It feels really good because you're moving with each other. You make it light feel, just kind of circling with each other. If I was a righty, it's the same thing, opposite. Circle towards the left side. Club them out of the way, close the gap. Single. Next attack from here, I get to my inside. He starts fighting this arm up. Just go against it. I'm going to my high crouch now. I'm still circling this way. Maybe I give a little jab over. He's fighting this arm. I'm pulling, carving the whole time. And he starts fighting this up. That's my window, underneath, back pocket, finish my high crouch. I always like to give a little jab with my hip, not really stepping like a single. It's more realistic when you kind of fake with your hip because he thinks I'm going hard with that single, selling out to it. So my little fake is like a little hip, boom, open up window. Right in there. Next one, I get to here, he gets a little lazy with it. I'm going to carve it by, between our bodies. I feel it's weak, and there's a lot of times where I'd say a high school athlete can do this, and they kind of just grab instead. Instead of carving it or moving, they just squeeze as hard as they can. A lot of times this is not even tight. You could just take a little half step, get it between your bodies. Like a little Miyagi wax the fence, or wax the floor. Fake, get out of the way. Boom. Any questions with any of those? No. Next thing I get to a lot, I always circle in that motion. And if you think about it, like, if I'm circling that way on tie, I'm most likely going to get this hand to come up. I'm circling so hard that I want that hand coming up, and I'm going to get to a lot of elbow pass stuff. But if I have trouble getting that hand up, as I'm circling, closing the gap, I'll make sure I tie this hand up. So he has to almost reach his hand. But usually, circling just hard enough, he kind of just puts his hand up. So I'm circling right into it. Now I'm going to get to some stuff off the elbow pass. Circling, grab his hand if you really want the opposite hand on you. And if I was a righty, I want this hand on me. So grabbing that hand, getting it, get to this position. And the same thing, even though he has the collar tie, I still want to look into his ear. I want to make it really uncomfortable. I just don't want to rest here and have him control me with his collar tie. I want to make it uncomfortable for him the whole time. To do that, I'm pulling this like into me, trying to take the power away a little bit. His hand off my shoulder here. That's a good pressure point to realize. When you feel like he can't grab you, that's really good, because now you take control of the situation here. I'm hunching my shoulders, just like a shrug. Just hunching my shoulders, bowling my neck the whole time I'm doing this. Boom. Right when he touches me, my neck bowls, my shoulders round. It loosens it up. I almost shrug this into me, trying to take his hand off my head. If I can't, it just makes it a little looser. Also using your head to look in. First technique here, I'm just going elbow pass, like a roll, Penn State clear tie. Lowering my level, head's going through this triangle. I'm just rolling my head as I'm shuffling my feet, and I want to get his arm right to the other side of my head. When I get here, I just tuck it in really tight with my neck. And I like to be on the collar tie when I do it, but it doesn't really matter. The first easiest attack, just push it across, get to your high sit. Second one, you need to be on the collar tie now. So once we get to this position, I'm isolating him by doing everything we just talked about. Now I'll go to his head. And I'm kind of pulling on him. I like to always get to the top of the head instead of the neck. When I pull his neck, he can come into me. If I'm on the top of his head, he kind of goes down. A lot more uncomfortable. So I'm circling top of the head. Everything stays the same. Now when I roll, I'm going to start going for my ankle pick here. So I'm going to be circling the whole time, rolling, and I could go right away, boom, or I could take like a little jab step, pull other side, then go. Boom. So I'll do like a little fake, try to reach for it, make them react, back to the arm, a little extra pull. Now I go, head comes with me down, ankle, punch it, and I try to secure the foot so he doesn't jump away from me. Next one, I go for that pick, like I just reach for it, and I feel him reacting extra hard. Get that leg back, I'm going to create space and just pull him to the mat. Reach, come back to arm, down. Reach, down. Right as I see his hip going back to the mat. One more time. Right, I went down already, but I'm off right away. Trying to get a quick go behind. Last one, this is kind of hard. I've been playing with this one a lot. Sometimes I'm getting it, sometimes I'm not. So I go here, and he's starting to push away with his other hand, almost like a Russian tie, just kind of pushing away, trying to get his arm out. I'm going to just let go of everything, underneath sweep single. kind of got to disappear under his hands a little bit, really low down. Worst case scenario, I just miss the leg and we end up back on our feet. Questions with that series? Cool. Go to top. Same with feet. So just a bunch of stuff on top here. I'm pretty good when a guy gets to his feet. The biggest thing is just like a little secret to how I lock. I lock on my wrist like this when a guy gets to his feet. So I always have room to try to grab a wrist and dip my hip. And the thing about this lock is when I can't get to one side, it's like freestyle butterfly lock. I switch underneath, and now I got this side to go the other way. But I can't get that side. Boom. Keep trading until I find a way. And if like 4 or 5 seconds go by, then it's trade off to a different mat return, so I don't want to get hit with a stall. So he comes to his feet, and I get here, boom, on that wrist lock. And this allows me to kind of dip my shoulder down. The lock's loose, but tight on the sides. Squeezing him in tight, so he can't go nowhere. And if I do feel like he's starting to get his hips out, it's sucking him back in tight. And Donnie went over a couple mat returns from that position, same exact stuff. Just sucking in tight when you feel like he's coming or getting away from me. I get here, and I want to dip down and reach for anything I can grab. If I get the top of his arm, great. I want to get the wrist, but if I get the arm, I just slide down to the wrist. So I'm wrestling here. I might even dip all the way to my knee for a split second to get it. Really shoot it high. Boom. When I get to the arm, I slide down to the wrist and I pull it across tight. I want no space on his arm here. And right when I get to this point, I jump right into my tilt. My foot is going behind the arm I have trapped on an angle, 45 degrees. And this knee is really important. I'm bumping out his knee like a tabletop right behind it. Elbow inside by the Rutgers symbol. Inside is important. And I either push the elbow to get there. If I can't get there, then I just sandwich my hand on top. Head tucks, and I just sit. I'm thinking about taking his leg like a fire pole. The elbow and my lat are squeezing in front, and my knees pinching in back, and I just slam him right backwards. Sit him right back into my pocket. I'm going to go from that. Stand up tall. So off this stand up, I'm kind of playing with him. When I know I can get to this, maybe I felt a guy who's tentative or just like kind of basing out, and he's not trying. He just wants to go 0-0 on the mat instead of just trying to get out. I do this little trick where off the whistle I'll go claw, tight waist, and I'm squeezing the claw and tight waist as tight as I can, but I'm also pulling it up to my chest, and I'm on my feet. So what I mean by that, whistle blows, the claw, let's stay down. He's kind of going iron frog kind of feel. So he goes, I go tight waist, claw, and I kind of just straddle his hips, and I'm pinching the claw together, choking him out, and his tight waist, but I'm pulling him up into my chest. I want his reaction to come up and grab my hands. When he grabs my hands, that's when I'm re-gripping and getting to a tilt. So claw, tight waist, I'm pulling it tight. I'm just kind of pulling him up with me. His hands go right to my hands, and I just re-grab. I'll take the hand that he grabs, whatever one it is, and I just take it to my other hand. Boom. If he grabs just the claw, then I can just kind of bring it to the hand that I have free. Boom. If he grabs the claw with the other hand, this hand, glove claw, I can just roll it down. So it's a little trick. You don't have to do anything crazy. You just roll your hand. Boom. Over the top. Now, he gets to his feet. It's his feet. I'm trying to get it, and I'm wasting a lot of time. Maybe I get hit with a stall, trying to reach for a wrist, fish for fish, or fish for a wrist. I can't get to it. I don't want to get too many. I don't want to get 2 stalls, that's for sure. If I know I'll get to it, I'll take one sometimes. And if you came to some Rutgers matches here, there's been times where it's like stalling 4 back points right away. So you feel it when you get good there. You feel when it's going to come. But When you feel like it's not going to come, you gotta trade off something else. And what I like a lot, his hands are usually wide, base like low, kind of blocking me out, trying to push my legs up. Like just not letting him get a, he's not letting me get wrist. I use a block with my foot. I'm going to aim my foot right behind Ty's foot, and I'm going to pull his hips over that and down to the mat. So I'm going for my wrist. He's blocking me out, staying real wide. I can't lift, which is my next best one, and he's just blocking well. This is the reaction I get a lot. If you go watch the NCAA finals, I hit this mat return a couple times. My lock goes either like cradle lock or to the hips. Block, boom, hit the side, tight waist. Trying to get to the wrist, trying to lift, boom. Little pivot, I'm a little pivot, opposite way I'm blocking, and then get out of the way, tight waist. You're just letting him fall, pulling his hips to the mat. You want to just pull his hip back and down. Searching, searching, searching. Block, pivot, boom, tight waist. I like to shoot this hand to this hip so he can't belly out. I'm just riding tight waist. Any questions with that one? Cool.
Going back to that, the tilt, does it matter how tall the kid is? I mean, if you're wrestling a kid that, you know, is way taller, would you still go with that tilt and try to fish with those wrist, cross wrist?
It's a field thing, man. You definitely want to be watching the guys on bottom. Like, if you know you're wrestling a guy on bottom who's like pinning guys from bottom or reversing guys from bottom, it's a different kind of strategy. I'm more like mat return. Don't go for the tilt till you wear him down where it's really there. But even with the taller guys, this is fine. I think a lot of times with the taller guys though, it becomes a roll through. So I get the cross wrist. The only time I go forward instead of backwards on the feet is when a guy's really like, he starts catching his balance. As I go back, he keeps taking little steps to catch his leg, to catch your balance, catch your balance. Now I feel like he's going forward, so I'll tap my head and go forward. Trying to keep this elbow inside. And with taller guys, you start sitting back, they're so long that you can't cut their knees out. So that's a lot of the feel that I'll get. I want them to go forward so I can roll. On the edge is another big one. You'll do the roll, because guys sniff the edge, they get excited. They're trying to run out of bounds, so they're going forward. I'll take it with it. Roll, keep my foot in, get my backs. It's more college, but high school tournaments have one foot in balance sometimes too. Not in season, but. Transitions from here. I really like getting the boot in. So whatever I get my tilt, boom, I get my backs. I just let this leg that's set in the table, pointing to the sky, I let it fall right out, perpendicular with Ty's body, and I pull his wrist to put him into where I want him. Leg tucks in, hop on top. Now, I just kind of ride here for a little. I like looking for an arm bar. This arm's usually fighting up. I take the momentum, backhand like you're feeling for a fire, all the way down as far as you can. And now you're going to use your hips to get this, not your arm. Just follow your hips over, and my arm bar's in. As I come out, I'm already going half Nelson roll through. So he's fighting match, he's starting to fight his hip back. I let him fight it, half starts sinking. Keep the leg in, but now the leg starts driving. Does everyone see that? And the mat, the leg that was in, is driving forward on its toes, loading him up on my hips. Pop through, jump over. Pinned a guy from Fresno State this year. Got a lot of back points. Nationals, Oklahoma kid. Boom. Once I get right here, it's a pop. I'm popping my hips, kicking over, boom, getting my hips on top, running the half. Elbow to elbow with the half. You want to stay ahead of him when you roll. The reason we roll, we get ahead of him, get perpendicular, and fucking crush him, pin him on his back. One more time. Boom, let the leg fall in. I got the arm bar right away that time. Half. Run, run, run. That time it's more of a stack. You feel it out. You feel the position once you get in there. Another tilt I really like. I'll use this roll through to set this one up. Stand up, sit up. I'm gonna push this arm across. You see what that does? A little pocket for my hand to come through. So as I go for my tilt and he's fighting really hard, but just like don't let me roll it. Sometimes you can't roll this. I'm gonna push this across. As I come back, I'm trying, I can't get it. Push this across. Screwdriver in my arm. Boom. Now I got my rebar tilt. Knee right on the squat, and I'm pushing forward. Get to that. Boom. Sometimes it'll come off like a 2 count. I get my roll through, I get a 2 count. He's fighting really hard, and I just stake this in. Now I get my 5 count. This is way tighter. One more time with that one. Push it across. You could even just dig it in as you're down here. It's already halfway in. Now when I come up, I start wiggling my knuckle like a screwdriver. Get it up. Boom. Using it like a prop. Questions with those?
I think you're barring when it does go in right away. I didn't get a good look at it. You had your palm up and
I'm using my fist like a screwdriver.
no, the previous.
Oh, I have?
Yeah. When he was flat, and it was extended.
Yeah. Let me just get my leg in. Let's get this up. So I got my leg in after that tilt.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're like, doesn't see their arm out, or it doesn't even have to be out, but it could be tight. This hand goes backhand. Like I have to tell you, for a fire, touch the lower back, all the way down, elbows deep. Boom. Now sometimes, most of the time, you're not powerful enough to just pick this up. You still fight really hard. So I just let him kind of fight it, just hang out here, and I put my hips, tipping over. Now my arm bar is in. If he doesn't fight up, then it's like, I don't know, man, he might be getting about back points. But usually they're fighting really hard to the belly. So I use that momentum to get that arm bar tight to my side, and as I come up, half on the other side. Boom. Now beginner wrestlers, I would say you can get here and tell them to take the leg out. Kind of just run the half. More advanced, that's where we get this roll through. The leg that's in turns into a drive leg on my toes, going forward, pop pips, pop over top. Stick them. Let's go to a single leg defense. I like this single leg defense a lot. My brother kind of introduced me to this position. Just kind of using my baseline defense to get this guy's head squared up like right where my middle pocket is. Right above my crotch, right below my belly button. That's where I want his head. So I'm using my belly wizard, almost a regular wizard, just to pull his lock up my leg. I want this lock to slide up my leg almost all the way to the point where it would break. I don't want it to break there. So I'm using a belly wizard for that. Pushing away. My laces go in the mat, not my toes. Toes, he drives into me. I can never get it all the way back. Laces, I slide down into that position. His head's already in my belly. I'm going to go around this way. Right above his knee, in the middle of below his butt and above his knee. Palm down, wrapping. This leg starts going from a sprawl to a crunch, keeping his head. I don't want his head to pop to the outside. Now he's in a better position. He's probably winning 60-40 here. So I keep his, as I go sprawl, I'm on baseline here, baiting him into it. He's starting to recover a little bit. Keeping it, making sure his head stays centered. When I jam it, it's like a sweep single while it's baseline. Sweep single, knee jams in, boom, getting this really tight. Lock my hands, other hand calm down, and I'm squeezing his knee to his chest. Like a little chest cradle here, just squeezing everything for a second. Now, I want to let this leg go straight. I like letting this leg go straight. I tuck his head, like his this lock, tucking it over. I'm going to use this knee to bump. Now I let go halfway through. And I kick him. Get that head down. Boom. Make sure the pressure's in so we can't slip that head to the outside. Even when I turn this ankle up, I'm jamming his head down down like this, trying to tuck his head in there So he's stuck with his head down and his legs up. Tight here first. Make sure you neutralize it. You don't want to get too excited and jump here. He pops his head outside or up, and now it's a scramble. So it's got to be hips in still. Hips in, tight, turn it, boom. Simpler way, I get here, I'm getting here. I'm just going to use this lock, and I'm going to like pry my arms, breaking this hip over, get him to his hip here. So this lock just turns hard. I get here, using this leg power, push it, boom, get him to his hip. Who cares if he's on my leg? I kind of just have it back a little bit, start looking for the cradle. I like to get this leg high. I got him to his hip, get that leg high. Boom, right here. Almost go 2 hands to 1 leg, pull it really tight first. Boom. One time down. Sprawling first, getting that head to the pocket. Sweep single, boom, jam it in, knee tight, boom. Stay tight here. Pick up leg, cradle.